Hey friends, welcome back to Faith Foster Fire Life. I'm Val. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how you can help kids in foster care. May is National Foster Care Awareness Month, so this month we are going to put out a series of videos all about foster care. We usually mix it up a bit and we do some fire-related videos, some homeschooling, and some foster care, but this month we really want to focus on foster care and bring awareness to all the children that need our help in the foster care department. So today I thought I would talk to you guys about ways that you can help kids in foster care even if you can't be a foster parent yourself. So a lot of people, every time that they hear that we are foster parents, tell us that they want to help in some way. And oftentimes they're not in a place in life where they can become foster parents, but there are lots of other ways that you can help. So I just want to talk about a couple of them today. So the first one, and it's the most important one in our eyes, is respite. So respite care is essentially, in layman's terms, babysitting. When children are in foster care, they're actually a guardian of the state. So whoever's watching them or in care of them at any time has to be cleared by the state. So when you're a foster parent and you need to have a babysitter, you can't just call your neighbor, call your friend, or do it the traditional way you would with your own children. You have to go through the steps that is required by the state that you live in. So again, we always speak from our perspective of living in Rhode Island. So and I always say that it's pretty typical across the United States, but there may be some little small differences. So if you're not in Rhode Island, you'd want to definitely check with your state's rules on respite care. But essentially what respite care is getting a background check. Some states require a fingerprinting and then approval by the state agency. So in Rhode Island, it's the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. Now, this role as a respite provider is so crucial. It's so important. It's so needed. So even if you can't be a foster parent yourself, if you could go through the steps, and they're pretty simple. I mean, it's basically filling out a criminal background check paper. And like I said, in some states you would have to get fingerprinted, which only takes a few minutes at your local police department. So the steps are really easy, and once you're approved, you are going to be an invaluable resource to the foster families that you know. Everybody needs a break, right? So we all need a break, even from our own kids, our own biological kids. And as foster parents, we also need a break from our foster kids. And that's time together as maybe a couple. You need time away as an individual, or maybe you need time away as a family. There were many times when our boys were little and we were fostering that we didn't have a lot of time with our own biological children. And so we would have respite care provider come, or we drop our foster kids off with them and, get away for a little bit and just have a little one-on-one nuclear family time. It sounds a little bit like harsh or mean that you wouldn't include your foster children in every vacation or event, but a lot of times there are things that prevent your foster children from maybe coming on vacation with you. So that's another reason you might need a respite provider. So you might need time away for yourself, with your spouse, or with your children, or there may be reasons that your foster children can't come with you on a vacation or a small trip, and you'd need to have a respite provider come and stay with them. So being a respite provider is number one, the most recommended thing I tell everyone when they say they want to help kids in foster care. The second way you can help foster families and the children in their care is very simple. It is to provide a meal for them. A lot of times when children come into foster care and they come into the family, there is so much on the family's plate to get done right away. There's a lot of adjustment that happens. There's needs that need to be met, whether it's getting a bedroom together, clothing. There's a lot of medical appointments. There's visits with biological family, with caseworkers, with doctors, and all sorts of things going on. So if you know a family that's taking in a new placement, providing a meal for them just to take that one more thing off their plate and have dinner provided is such a huge help and a blessing. And especially if you know a foster family that's taking in an infant. I'll never forget when I first took our first infant in, and I was at a meeting. I was volunteering with a group at church, and I went to the meeting and I had the baby and all of that, and I was exhausted because he was a newborn and I was up all night, and just because I didn't give birth to him didn't mean it wasn't as exhausting as it would have been if I did. So it was just so crazy that I walked into that meeting, and my friends all saw how exhausted I was, and they were like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just tired. You know, he's up every 2 hours and all that." And like the light bulb went off in all of their heads that, wow, this is just like a new mom coming home with a baby. And they sprung into action, and we had lots of meals delivered, and I was just so grateful. And it really wasn't anything that we had thought of ahead of time to ask and say, hey, we're taking in an infant, we might need some meals. And that was something that my church in particular commonly did. Whenever a new baby was born, there was a whole ministry around providing meals for the family for the first couple of weeks. So that is another great way you can help a foster family, and in turn helping the foster children adjust into their new home, is just by cooking a meal and dropping it off and taking that one more thing off their plate. The third and last tip I have for you today on how to help children and their foster families is donations. This is really common. People ask about how they can donate all the time, and there's two different ways. One is a monetary donation. Now, this would not be a monetary donation directly to the foster family. That would be awkward and strange, and we get a stipend to help care for the children in our care. But there are lots of resources out there for foster families that make it more sustainable to continue to foster, that do need your monetary donations. In previous videos, I mentioned a few that are local to Rhode Island, and I'll mention them again and link them down below. Foster Forward is an amazing agency or nonprofit in Rhode Island that helps foster families. They provide everything from clothing, necessities, sometimes like strollers, car seats, anything a family might need. They gather together those resources, and then they also provide trainings and support groups for foster families in Rhode Island. So every state has some kind of nonprofit that is working to help the families and the children in foster care. So either a monetary donation to them, or a donation of new items, and sometimes gently used. So clothing can be donated that is gently used. That's always a huge blessing. If it's something like a car seat, of course, it'd have to be, never in an accident, or not older than, I believe, 7 years old. So, make sure it's all in good working condition. Same thing with a stroller, a crib, that they're all meeting the standards of the current child safety standards. So if you have monetary donations or physical donations of goods, you can always search out your state's nonprofit that helps foster families, and they will gladly take your donations because we're always needing them. I hope that those 3 simple ways of helping kids in foster care and helping the families that care for them gave you some ideas, and maybe one of them is something that you can easily do this month and get it started. We really want to draw attention to foster care and the families that are caring for these kiddos and the kids themselves, and they truly appreciate it. So today, I hope you go ahead and love God and love others, and give this video a thumbs up and leave us a comment below. We would love to know your experience with foster care. If you've ever been a respite provider, or if you have more questions, leave them below and we'll make another video answering your questions. Have a great day.